Welcome back everyone. In the last episode, my best friend and I made some incredible progress, building some much needed infrastructure and crafting the ultimate cozy greenhouse to store all of our plant and natural resources. Plus we took the next big step in transforming our peaceful mountain outcrop into something truly special. But today we're kicking things up a notch. It's time to move beyond our humble starter hall and begin an exciting new project, and that is creating a hidden base deep inside the mountain itself. So if you're ready for some laid back building and creative fun and more, then hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive right on in. And we're back again, and I feel like we've really got into a bit of a flow in the last few episodes about the progress that we've made really on our mountain outcrop base. But one thing that's kind of held true really is the fact that we really have outgrown our little starter hall here. I mean, we've got our cat, we've got the sort of a few chests and the bare minimum essentials really of any kind of starter base, but it's fair to say that I think we've really outgrown it at this phase. And me and Eden, we kind of be moving on to bigger and new projects, and we're starting to kind of really run out of space now, and we just want to expand and move on to the next exciting phase. So today is going to be all about doing that, and I don't want to build any old base because I mean the last episode we did kick off and build our greenhouse, and I was super happy with how that turned out. I mean, it was perfect because it's now meant that we can actually store all of our green and natural resources within there, and that's kind of what I've been wanting to do a lot really, is kind of build something for a purpose and make it sort of functional but also aesthetically pleasing. But the thing is, we've run out of space up on this sort of outcrop area, so I'm thinking something that could be really cool and exciting is that we could actually make use of the fact that we're building on top of a mountain. We could actually build within the mountain itself, because we've got so much space beneath here that's just kind of just sat there and not used. So I think that we will be building something hidden away, and perhaps we'll build some secrets or some sort of, I don't know, some sort of fun interactive ways to sort of get in and out of our base, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But first off, really, I just got to show this because Eden's been super busy in between episodes, and he's actually been starting to build a whole like storage hall here for us. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, I had only really been gone maybe a few weeks, and I come back and Eden's already kind of built out a storage hall for us, and this is looking epic, and it's going to be great for us to move all our stuff in there. But for our kind of main area, I'm thinking that I want to kind of carry on down this path. And we made this path back in episode 1, and I've not really got around to actually properly decorating. I mean, I made a bit of a walkway kind of going up from the sort of base of the mountain, the base of the mountain up to the top. But the thing is, I never actually finished transforming the path itself. I kind of left it kind of unfinished, and I'd meant to really return to it, but I never really got around to it. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to finally tackle it head on and actually transform it and make it into something like, I don't know, something more filled with life and in sort of the same style that we've been building up above. Because then we can actually have free reign to start building the entrance and the main sort of starting point of our interior base that we're going to be making inside of the mountain. So I think the best starting point really is just to kind of dig in a few blocks here and kind of like reserve the spot, so to speak, so that we kind of know where the entrance is going to be, so that when we start transforming the pathway down, we can join it up quite nicely, and hopefully it'll sort of fit in quite nicely. Now, for the sort of style that we're going to be going in today, I mean, I am really kind of winging it. If you kind of watched my last few episodes, you'll know that I'm really trying not to kind of plan too heavily, because I want to really just enjoy being in the world and experience things like firsthand and kind of just see where the inspiration sort of strikes and kind of see where things go. But I think I had kind of like a loose idea of kind of the style, so I'm thinking we're going to need quite a lot of spruce, so I'm going to craft up a load of signs, barrels and slabs and all that sort of stuff, because I think what I would like to do is kind of build up some sort of pillar structure, like archways going down. But before we can do that, really, we need to kind of just reshape the pathway a little bit, because it's kind of a little bit inconsistent. So I think if we kind of just open it up a little bit and just make it just feel a little bit more open, really, because I want it to kind of be like at least 3 blocks wide all the way down. So then we have enough space as we're going to going down through it, so it's like not too big, but it kind of feels like, I don't know, it's open, and I don't know, it just feels more, I'm not even sure what I'm trying to say here. But anyway, I think if we just go at least 3 blocks wide, it's going to give us enough space and going to fit at least with the scale that we've been building in. But I think the starting point is going to having these like sort of archway structures. So I want to just kind of have like strip logs. I think they look pretty good like this, and then we can have like a stair block each way. And then I was kind of like debating maybe just like slabs up on top. So maybe something like this. Will this work? I don't know if that's going to give us, if that's going to work, if we're going to build, I was kind of thinking about like a center beam going above it, so we might have to remove the slabs. But yeah, if we add some trapdoors as well, it's going to kind of add in a bit of depth and texture. Yeah, I'm going to remove the slab and let's replace it with this sort of center beam like this. I think that works better. Definitely looks cooler. I think more joined up. And then we kind of fill in the area above it. But then really what I would like to also do is I think add in some signs onto the sort of the top bits here. I don't know why I really never thought to use more signs in the past, but recently I've been using a lot of them in my builds to just kind of add in a subtle bit of extra depth. I mean, trapdoors sometimes can be a little bit too much, but the signs just, I don't know, like I said, they're a bit more subtle. You could almost like miss them at a glance, but I think it can make quite a big difference. So I think that's definitely a tip to kind of not underestimate how much of a difference they can actually make. I thought I could hear mob noises. I mean, the whole time that I was starting to build up those first few arches, I could have sworn I was hearing a lot of like zombie noises from somewhere, and I couldn't quite work out where it was coming from. But then as I sort of looked in free cam, I realized there was a whole unlit section. There's like a horde of zombies and everything just beneath us. So I think we definitely need to light up this section and clear them out. But anyway, things are starting to look pretty good. I've been busy and I've added in the next few arches all the way down. And I think this is already starting to make a big difference. I even took in the challenge of trying to build some diagonal ones. That's definitely a little bit harder than the sort of the straight across ones, but I think they've actually come out quite nicely. I had to kind of like adapt them ever so slight to make it work, but I think this actually comes together quite nicely. It fits in well with this sort of the winding bendiness of the path. But I think the next bit I really want to tackle is the floor and the walls. So Eden's been kind of using this style where he's been mixing in like a subtle bit of like cobble and like the mossy cobble and stuff into the floor, and I really like that. So I'm thinking that's probably what I want to try and do, kind of working down the path. But first, I kind of need to round off these sort of the stairs. So I think I'm going to still keep that sort of tough stairs that kind of working its way down, because I think they look quite nice like that. But then kind of like in the sort of sections in between, yeah, if we just kind of break things up a little bit and add in like that sort of same sort of pattern that Eden was using. I want to try and avoid like kind of too many like recurring like patterns of like the same sort of, I don't know, blocks. But at the same time, I kind of want to mix things up. I guess it's kind of one of those things you kind of really kind of trust the process. I mean, when I'm first sort of doing this kind of looks like a bit much. I'm not sure if I entirely like it. Like, it doesn't seem to feel 100% natural, but I guess if we just kind of keep working our way down and kind of, I guess we can look back then and kind of see if it is indeed actually looking all right, or if it's totally wrong and we need to change it out. Okay, I wasn't so sure at first, but actually now that I've gone all the way down, I've also done the walls a bit as well. Actually, I'm liking this quite a lot more. It's starting to feel a lot better. Yeah, so I was really trying to doubt myself at the beginning, but it's actually looking all right. So I think now what we need to do is just need to actually fill out the ceiling area, because we have a few kind of like open points here where we've kind of got these supporting archways, but then we've got this whole like empty void up above. So I think probably it's going to look best if we just kind of fill it in. Just something like this. I'm not really going to do anything too fancy, but yeah, just fill it in. And I think that was kind of like wrap things up nicely, at least along the actual path section itself. And then we can actually kind of move on to probably one of the other, like, I suppose more important things I really wanted to tackle, and that was kind of like the entranceway to this whole like kind of area going down below to the storage hall that Eden built, and then that pathway itself is going to lead through to our entrance to our future like interior base. Because at the moment we kind of got this whole like open section here. It's just kind of, I don't know, looking like a bit bland and empty. It kind of needs something there, I think. So kind of thinking like maybe something similar to like the archways that we've got down below, but I actually want to do this a little bit differently. I'm just going to use a bit of oak. And I'm actually going to mix in a bit of spruce. Now you might think spruce, but actually if you like strip it like this, then actually the oak and the stripped spruce work really well together. So something like this. And then I want to have a bit more of like an organic kind of like stretch, like cross beam between it, something like this, and kind of like a varying height as well. So like one block higher on the left side here, and then that kind of like works his way down to the right side. I think that looks quite good. So then we can add in some like slabs and stuff. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. And then of course some trapdoors. It goes without saying, you need some trapdoors to kind of mix things up a little bit. Yeah, so maybe some, I don't want to do too many, but yeah, something like that. I've even added a few like ladders on the side, you'll notice there as well. I quite like using I quite like using them for a little bit of extra details. Maybe some on the bottom. And then I think, what should we add? Probably some more signs. So yeah, let's see where we can add some. Maybe like one here. Is that going to be too much? I don't know. I think that looks quite good. And then add some more here, and some more along the sides. Yes, this is looking good. Okay, this is already coming together quite nicely. Okay, and now we just need to add in some lanterns to light things up, because at the moment it's a little bit dark and dingy. And I've also added some barrels on the outside here. So I think that's looking quite good. If we kind of come back out now, I think, yeah, that's definitely a bit more of an entrance, and I've kind of decorated the floor a bit as well. But whilst we're kind of doing some lighting, we probably should actually start removing all the torches we've got dotted around the tunnel as well, because no one wants random torches kind of hanging about. So let's just actually add in a few more of these lanterns just up on the ceiling. It's going to be like a little bit, I suppose, dark and dingy, but I don't want it like too dark or anything like that, but I don't want it to be like super lit up at the same time. I kind of like the sort of the broody mood sort of theme that Ian's been going for in the storage area. So yeah, that's looking pretty good, I think. Okay, it's time, and I'm feeling super inspired right now. I mean, we've done so much already with the path and the entrance leading down, so now it's actually time to start thinking about the entranceway to our base. But I don't want to make this any old entrance. I actually want to make this a little bit tricky to actually get into our base. So I actually want to experiment with something that I've never really messed around with before, and that is the chiseled bookshelf. You see, it actually has some interesting properties where we can actually interact with it via redstone, and we could use it as a bit of like a combination lock to sort of get into our base. So I actually want to make the entrance a bit of a facade, and I want to build out, I'm thinking something along those lines of like a mountain library. So at a glance, you could enter it and think not much of it. You could just think it's just a cozy corner within the mountain. But if we interact with a set number of the chiseled bookshelves in a certain way, then we can actually unlock the door, which is going to lead through into a passage that can take us into sort of the main halls that we'll build in sort of future episodes and everything along those lines. Right, so we have at least a reasonable amount of space now cleared out ready for us. It might not be enough, but we shall see how we get along. That is the one problem with building underground. It's always so easy to kind of underestimate exactly how much space you're going to end up needing, especially when you're not really formally planning it. But I have at least been doing a little bit of tinkering in a test world just to kind of figure out the redstone that I'm going to be needing for the secret entrance with the chiseled bookshelves. So if we just quickly grab a bit of wool, then we can use that for placing on all of our redstone components and stuff. This makes it a little bit easier to kind of keep track of. If we just work out a rough center, it's probably not going to be exactly centered, but yeah, anyway, if we get our 3 chiseled bookshelves along like these are going to be basically our combination locks for unlocking the secret entrance. And now normally if we had like 3 in a row like this, you would have kind of like the redstone line that would cross over, and of course it would break things. But what we can actually do is we can actually redirect the signal slightly so that we can split it out and have like a 1 block gap between each actual line. Yeah, I probably could have just got away with having a single bookshelf as being the sort of the secret sort of combination to get in, but I kind of wanted to make it even more fun. So I'm making actually a bit of an AND gate. So we actually have to have all 3 slots correctly interacted with in the bookshelves to actually unlock our door. So we just set our combination. So I'm thinking 4 and then 3, and then I think probably, let's see, 1. Okay, so what this basically means is each of these slots is going to have a corresponding signal strength. So it's going to be signal strength 4, and signal strength 3, and then finally 1. So we can actually then build out our redstone lines. We can see just about the level where it actually powers. And then what we're going to need to do is basically lock it in so that we don't accept any signal strength lower. So basically not a slot lower than the one we want. We also need to make sure we don't actually accept any slot higher than our desired one. So if we had a repeater after the gap where it's not powered, then that basically handles if the signal strength is too strong. So if it's like a slot up, and then what we can also do is handle as well when the signal strength is too low by adding in a redstone torch on the final powered block like this. So this is going to basically lock in and make sure that only our desired like slot is going to be the one that actually changes the state. So yes, something like this. Cool. So I think we can actually test this now. So if I just attach this up to a quick piston in a minute, it's not going to actually do anything much, but it says by default it's going to be powered up when these slots are wrong. But if we actually go ahead and interact with the correct slots, we just need to reset it first. It only interacts the last one, but let's put on our 4th book and our 3rd and our 1st. And then it should actually depower it. Yes, it has. Awesome. So that's really promising. That means we've actually locked in the desired strength correctly. You know what? I really am having so much fun. It's actually been quite a while now since I've actually done any kind of reasonable amount of redstone. I mean, I did quite a bit more in the past, but I suppose in like recent times I've been mostly focusing on more of the sort of the building elements. But I've always really quite enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not really so much fussed about, ever really been fussed anyway about bigger, like massive industrial farms or anything like that. I mean, they're cool to make sometimes, but I don't know. They don't really have much interest for me. But what I do love is making interactive and fun elements into the the world. And this is definitely checks all of those boxes. I mean, what is more fun than having a secret door powered by redstone? I mean, I think that is definitely cool in my books. And yeah, I think this is coming along really nicely now. I mean, we're almost there. So kind of the final bits really I'm just quickly doing is I just want to make sure that we actually have a bit more of a single pulse, because at the moment the door's either going to be powered on or off, which means our door's only going to be locked open or locked closed, which is kind of not going to be much good for us really all in all. But if we use an observer, then we can actually change this into a single pulse. And then finally, all we need is a pulse extender just to give ourselves a bit of delay between the door opening and closing, to give ourselves a little bit of time to allow us to pass through. Otherwise it's going to be a bit stressful to get through that door, I tell you. But anyway, once we've actually got this in, then we can just run this into the line that's kind of running into the door. And if you see over here, we've actually got a redstone torch up there. So if we run that into there and actually place in a repeater, then when the line's powered, we've got the correct combination, is actually going to disable the torch, which is then going to retract the doors and then open it up. So yeah, I think this is actually working out pretty well now. This is awesome. I am excited to actually start getting started with the library itself. Okay, so I've made a little bit of a start, and you can see now that things are starting to take shape. I mean, it's not fully there yet, but you can kind of get the gist of where I'm going with things. But as much as it's coming along really nicely, and I am liking the way it's like coming to be, but the one thing that I'm quickly realizing is, oh my, bookshelves are expensive, and I've completely run out of leather. I don't have any more. I don't have enough emeralds to buy up any bookshelves from the limited amount of villagers that I have. So we're going to actually have to do some foraging for leather. Now, I think the only way I can feasibly do this is if I grab some gold from the gold farm that Wolf is one of the other players on the server, and he basically said that we could all help ourselves at any of the gold here. So this is going to be perfect. So we don't actually have a bartering farm, but I think if I just grab some of this gold, then if we just grab some piglins somewhere, we just go down to like the actual nether floor and find a way down. Oh my gosh, I hate being in the nether so much. It just, oh, my palms are always so sweaty when doing this sort of things. I mean, look at it. I mean, we've got just like lava down below. I mean, one mishap and it's game over, and we lose all our stuff, and it's going to be a nightmare to replace. But anyway, if we just make our way down, hopefully there should be some piglins, and then we can maybe dig them a little hole or something. And I think if we just chuck in the gold, then we can just see if we can get some leather out of them. Let's see, shall we? Let's. I think they're actually attracted to gold, so yeah, let's try throwing some down. Will they follow me in here? Let's see. Okay, let's chuck a few in here. Are they coming? Oh, I forgot they don't like the zombified piglins, do they? No, of course they don't. They're afraid of them. All right, never mind. Okay, let's just quickly get rid of this gas, because that gas is probably going to cause us trouble if we don't. Hey, look at that. Single shot. What a pro. Anyway, if we dig a hole over here, yeah, I think this is far enough away from those zombified guys, then they should actually jump in here. So now if we just chuck in that gold, and let's see, there we go. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Right, good training with you. Let's see if we can get some goodies out of them. We're probably going to get a lot of the other stuff out of them as well, but I'm not really so interested in that at this point, as I only really need the leather, so we're probably going to be wasting a bit of gold, but oh well, we've got the gold farms, it doesn't really matter. That was oddly satisfying. I mean, I managed to find a few more piglins so that we can get through a little bit more trading a little bit quicker, and I finally got at least a reasonable amount of leather. I mean, we're probably going to need to build a bartering farm at some point if we're going to want more, but that was enough for now. And we've got the paper from our sugarcane farm, thankfully, so now we can actually craft up all the books and the bookshelves themselves, and then I'll actually get building again. We really are in the final stretch now, and I am super excited. So it's finally in the stage that I love the most, and that is the tinkering stage, where we can kind of go around really, kind of checking bits off of our to-do list, and kind of just bring in like more details and more life and everything into it. But it's almost there now. It's really almost there. So I think really the biggest bit that's kind of lacking at the moment is obviously the floor. We don't want just plain bare stone, so I think I was going to keep it quite simple. Just have some like spruce planks, nothing too crazy. I think that can work quite nicely. And then what I'll also do is add in a bit of a red carpet. But I'm going to kind of like mix this up around here. Not going to have any sort of particular pattern. I'm just going to kind of mix it up a little bit into the floor. And then what we can also do is we actually embed some of the red wool itself into the floor alongside it. And then what we actually end up with is a bit of a multi-layered effect where it adds a bit more depth to it. So I think that looks pretty cool. I think I don't know where I saw this, but I saw someone doing it. I quite liked it, so I'm just trying to do this now here as well. But I think that definitely has the effect. And then I think really you just need to focus on adding in a bit more like, I don't know, like interior features, because at the moment it's just got all the bookshelves and the carpet and it's just looking a little bit bland and bare. And I want to add more life. I want to make like a real purpose to come here. So I'm thinking along the lines of building like a table area where people can kind of like check out their books and sit and have a read, or I don't know, do some studying or something. So I think like a table area could look pretty cool. Somewhere we could have like a few lanterns placed on it, maybe a couple of like plant pots or something with some shrubs, something along those lines. So I think if we just add something in here, but no, I think I need to place these down one. Yeah, like this. Yeah, if we place these down one from here, then we can actually place things on top. Otherwise things will be randomly floating in the air and that'll be no good. Anyway, I have a funny feeling we're not gonna have space like this. Let me see. So if we place in a few more... No, this is going to be too tight. There's not going to be enough space between here and the bookshelf at the end. Okay, let's flip this around. Let's actually change the orientation like this. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, if we switch this around like this and actually have the seats either end like this, then we actually have enough room. It doesn't feel like it's being squashed into the room. It actually feels like it's a part of the room. So I think that looks better. Let's get rid of these original ones that we added in for the seats. The more I start placing down, the happier I'm actually getting. So I really am getting into a bit of a stride now. I mean, do you know what? Historically, interiors was something I kind of shied away from. I'm still not fully there yet. I mean, there's so many little interior tricks that there are so many talented builders out there that can just seem to have the knack for. And I'm not really quite there yet with it all. But I am starting to at least try and at least do some small bits here and there like this. And I think this works quite well. It's nothing like particularly exciting, but I think for me, this is pretty good. But you know what? If you have any ideas of anything more that we can actually do in here, I mean, I'd love to hear your suggestions. So do make sure you leave some comments down below, because it's something that I can actually learn from and maybe try a few new things in the future. But for now, at least, I think this is coming along quite nicely. So let's just fill in the ceiling as well. A bit similar to the floor. And we'll probably add some sort of crossbeam as well. But yeah, just something like this is a little bit more interesting. And then I think we really are coming on to something now. I mean, the final bit, maybe it's just a couple of lecterns. I mean, I haven't got any like book and quills yet, but if we place in a couple, at least we have somewhere for them to go. I mean, maybe we'll add in a bit of lore or something in the future and add a bit of a tale to this whole area. I mean, it's something that I don't usually do, but maybe I could try and do something a bit different. But yeah, I think we are finally now done, and this is looking amazing. I am absolutely chuffed to bits. So I am super inspired and excited to continue building on into the next episode. But for today, that's really all we've got time for now. So until next time, I shall see you later. Bye-bye.